study English as a usual subject, but finally began to use it and become interested in everything with the means of English. That's very important. And today we are going to talk about the NO preparation and use of English part. So today we have a very specific topic. So our plan for today is, first of all, we are going to discuss what this part of the exam is. Then we will see how we can help the students to prepare for this part. And of course, we will practice tasks. As I promised in the webinar title, in the webinar descriptions, there would be some activities that can be adapted for online use. Lots of them are universal. You can use them in your real classrooms or in your virtual classrooms by using any tool that you use, like Zoom or something like that. But some of the ideas are to incorporate with online learning. You will see this sign online. It means that this activity is great for using online. And by the way, you can use it in your live classes as well, but with the use of some gadgets. It's usually this usually motivates our students. So let's start. Our site, if you haven't visited it yet, please, you are welcome. We collect the different ideas. You can download sample pages of all textbooks, read about them, download some games and read interesting articles. Also, National Geographic Learning now cares about teachers who work not only live but online, and it has lots of support for teachers, different digital resources. If you use or are going to use any of the books from National Geographic Learning, please remember that there are many ways the support that you can use in order to have online teaching and online process as well. If you aren't familiar with this, please contact me. I will be happy to present you what resources are there. Okay. In the beginning, in the webinar, I'm sorry. Okay, so when you registered to the webinar, there was a little button that led you to a task from me to complete two columns of the table, like know, want to know, and learned table. And I asked you to complete the first two columns with the ideas what you know about use of English and what you would like to know about use of English. If you haven't done it yet, I suggest you to be active and to write it down, maybe in not with this chart, but in your notebook, or even you can share it with me. And I prepared my favorite online tool for you to share your ideas. So my first question to you is, what do they check in this part, use of language, and what do exercises look like? Or maybe some other things that you know about use of language. To share these ideas, not with me only, but with others, I invite you to join Mentimeter. If you have visited my webinars, you must know this great and very easy to use app. So for now, you can open a new tab on your laptop or on your computer. You can use a phone with internet connection. You need to go to the site menti.com. Then you enter the code 8928106 and leave me some comments to share with us, because we teachers know better than others that it's great when we can study something new, learn something new from each other, not only from one person, but when we collaborate, we are more powerful. So I invite all of you to join and to write down your ideas. What I know about use of English, the structure of these tasks. Maybe you already know, and I believe you do, some interesting tips for preparation, or how you encourage your students, how you motivate your students. So one more time, what you need to do is to visit our the site menti.com. It's yellow now on your screens. Use the code and share your ideas. Thank you. Thank you very much for the first answers. Now we have, you can see something. So I see that some of you are really newcomers in this topic. Anyway, even if you don't know, maybe you can imagine what it is. At least you know that this is the part of the ZNO examination. And here we have some interesting thoughts from our colleagues, like they test grammar and vocabulary chunks. It's a very hard part for students to study, and that's true. It checks vocabulary and grammar, knowledge of grammar and vocabulary, the tasks, usually fill in activities, multiple choice. It's so useful and inspiring. Yes, that's true. Thank you very much. I invite everyone to try to join this application, because it's a very easy tool. You just spend, I don't know, about 5 minutes to prepare the slides, and you collect ideas from your students. You can use it online, offline. All you need and all your students need is just your phones and an internet connection. Interesting tasks. Yes, actually. By the way, when I passed a Cambridge Advanced exam, use of English was one of my favorite tasks. It's a bit different from the another, a bit wider range of exercises, but it was great. It was interesting. You can really show what you know, and it's important. Check vocabulary, grammar tasks using vocabulary, checks everything, short expression that we use in our life communication. Yes, it is true. Training of synonyms, it's must. We need to focus on the vocabulary and on grammar knowledge. Great, thank you very much. Good, we must have a talk as possible. I'm afraid I'm not on multiple choice, gap filling. Do they have gap filling then or now, or is it just multiple choice? Good, thank you very much. Now let's move to the second column. Now, for me, it would be very interesting for you to know what you want to know about use of English. So now it's time to ask questions to the speaker. I hope that you will hear the answers during the webinar. If you don't, I also hope that we will have some time to discuss your questions that are left. So everything you have always wanted to ask but never have, please join us and use ask your questions. New interesting tasks. Super, thank you very much. Tips for productive teaching. Strategies of choosing proper vocabulary. How to use the lesson. How to teach vocabulary. Grammar tasks. Word formation. Text with gaps. How to teach, new activities, new resources to use, ways to teach as much vocabulary as possible, how to use it properly and effectively, fun activities, how to help students to become better and confident during this part. Thank you. Really good questions. New approaches of teaching, interesting and easy explanations. Yeah. Tasks online. How to spend as little time as possible reading the instructions to the tasks. Oh, very good question, really. How to use it in a group of pupils. Some useful strategies. Grammar, paraphrasing is the rather difficult part. All right, dear colleagues, mostly we are going to focus today on the ZNO part of the exam, but I think that you will find it useful if you prepare for international exams as well. Anyway, if we don't cover everything that you're interested in, we can go back to that and maybe in several webinars come back and dig deeper, talk a bit more about international examinations as well. How to learn different phrases in short time and when to use it. Strategy, which exercises can be used during distant education. How to use it in groups of pupils. Good, great. Thank you very much. I leave it. I don't close this. You just don't see it, but I still have it open, so you can add your questions. I will look through them. Maybe we will prepare some useful material on our Facebook page, or next article would be about some of your questions if we don't cover it today. So, and I suggest finally we can start. Let's do it. So, very quickly, what do they check in use of language? And here we talk about mostly about Ukrainian exams. So, first of all, we are talking. They check your vocabulary, and you were right. It's important to know synonyms. For example, what's the difference between personal, private, and individual? Common expressions, like at the age of, not speak a word of the language, and something like that. Phrasal verbs, which is one of the difficult part. Prepositions, also grammar structures, right? Tenses, modals, comparisons, superlatives, forms of verbs, everything. Yeah, conjunctions. Usually, they are not just typical activities like students do gap filling activities, rephrasing. It's just multiple choice. Yeah, they have 4 options to choose, and they need to choose the right one. Some of the tasks can be about the grammar, some tasks can be about the vocabulary. And when you do some exam-like preparation, focus your students and ask them, is it grammar or is it vocabulary? Yeah. For them, it's important to know, they don't need to know this meta language as much as we teachers do, but at least they will know where to find the answer. You know, what rule they need to remember. How can a teacher, what can a teacher do to help students? My suggestion is that it's impossible to start to teach our students all the language that we have, right? That is there. Anyway, what we need to do is to teach our students correct strategies. There was a very good question from you, how to teach them to read instructions shortly. Yes, that is important for us, and it's okay just to explain to students, to come back to it from time to time and explain that you're going to have very short and limited time to pass the exam. Don't waste your time on reading. And moreover, when you practice these exercises, when you do some practice tasks, the students then will understand that, okay, for this task, I need to do this and that. For this task, I need to focus on something like that. So my suggestion is practice, practice, practice. You practice also the language. We will talk about it during the webinar. But what is important, you practice the exam-like tasks. And you explain to your students. You can even use your clock, and to show them that, okay, look, you've spent so much time. How can you finish the activity? Anyway, strategies. What we need to do? How we need to teach our students to do these multiple choice activities. With the multiple, here we have some very good tips. With the multiple choice text, you should read the complete text quickly, first to get a general understanding, right? So first thing you do is you look through the text. Then read each sentence carefully and make sure you know what type of word is missing. That was what I was saying about grammar. Look at the multiple choice options and see if there are words that fits. Where the words are similar, take time to read the options carefully. Read the sentence with the word you have chosen to make sure it makes sense. And it's very important to do some self-check. One thing is to give students these pieces of advice. Another thing is if they are going to use it. And from my practice, from what I've seen from other teachers, from some great examples, is when you not just explain to the students the strategies, but you give them the tasks. So these strategies are good for teachers, are understandable, good for students, understandable for students, and they don't know how to do the task, but to do it only in such a way. I've underlined some important things here. So read the complete text quickly, what type of word to understand, and then read again the text with the sentence. So let's start. Our first tip was to read the text quickly to get the general understanding. For us, it's quite an obvious tip, right? But for students, it could be quite a challenge. They will read it very maybe thoroughly, or maybe they skip this advice. It can be anything. Yeah, our teenagers are real teenagers, right? So we show them the text, and it's it's even easier to do when you work online, just because you can turn off the slide, and that's all. Yeah? So you set some time for maybe 20 seconds, something like that. 30 seconds if the text is big. And all they need to do is just to finish the sentence the text is about. Let's try. I'm going to show you the text. You look through it. You will have 10 seconds only. Let's make it tough. And your task is to understand, to get the general understanding. So here is the text. You have 10 seconds. And in your comments, please finish the sentence the text is about. Yeah? The time starts. Well done. So, from what you've seen, please write in the comment where you can see this question mark on your screen. Finish the sentence. The text is about. Super. I've already had the first answer. The text is about busy big cities, crowded cities, stress of city life, hustle and bustle of the cities. Great expression, by the way. Life in the city, city life. Life in large cities, how to survive in a big city. The text is about city. Yeah, that's true. How to conquer the stress in big cities. Life in big cities, living in different cities, overpopulated cities. Great. Thank you very much. All your suggestions are great. So once we understand the general idea, we move to the next part. And the next part is the understanding what word is missing. During the school education, yeah, we from time to time go back to it, explain to our students noun, verbs, adjectives. They may know it from their native language lessons, so you can use their knowledge, their general knowledge, to help them. If your students are weaker and they don't really get the idea, for them it's really difficult, you can help them. Yeah, you can start from big support. For example, look at these first three gaps and decide if there is a noun or an adjective missing. That's all. Yeah, all they need to do is to understand if it's a thing or if it's a description. That's all. Manny, I already have some answers from you. Great. What wonderful students have today. Thank you very much for your answers. So the first space, the first gap is adjective. Then we have noun. Then we have adjective. Even if this activity is difficult for the students, you can make it even simpler. Please decide. Here are one noun missing and two adjectives missing. Go. Yeah, now you can work. So why we need this? These exercises, like use of language, they require some analytical skills from our students, right? To understand what grammar is missing or what collocation it is. They need to be more self-conscious, I would say. By doing activities like that, like general idea, putting different parts of speech, making guesses, maybe, we develop this skill in our students. We help them to get used that these exercises are not very quick exercises. They are not creative exercises, right? They need to be attentive and use and have some structure in their head. So these activities are important to raise this level of awareness, to help them concentrate. That's why we need it. And I know that sometimes we skip it. We decide to give students more grammar rules, more vocabulary to study. But the strategy, this understanding is what they really need and what really helps them. Even if they have not so much knowledge, they will benefit from understanding such simple things as main idea, as understanding the parts of the speech. Now, look at gap number 1. What are your ideas? Is it private? Is it personal only or individual? I've already had some answers. Thank you. You are welcome to write down your answers, to work with us, to be in your students' shoes right now. Okay, if there was a poll, I would say that answers A and B would have approximately the same amount of answers. So the space could be either private or personal. And here we have the collocation, which surprisingly is not like in our native language. This is personal space. Yeah, we even have this picture that demonstrates it to us. So personal space is the physical space immediately surrounding someone into which encroachment can feel threatening or uncomfortable. Into which he was invading her personal space. That is the collocation. And one of the questions from you was how to give the student the right vocabulary. You can never know what type of vocabulary will be tested, but if you use some books that are on the B2 level, B1 plus level, they will have these most common collocations. Also, you can check requirements from examination centers where they have the list of words and also use it. Another thing is when you find some interesting collocations from the exercises that you've done from practice tests or from some articles, and just give it to your students. Not only give these phrases to your student, these collocations is important, but here you finally get the chance to make their vocabulary bigger. How you can do it? You can ask your students to give you more examples. Okay, so the word space collocates with personal space. Do you know any other expressions that go with the word personal? Any ideas from you? Super. Personal information. Personal life, personal offer. Well done. Point of view, personal opinion. So everything that touches my individuality. Personal goal, great. Personal name, personal opinion, personal skills, personal view, personal attitude, nice. So you can make this mind map very big, and if your students keep notes, have this in their notebooks or vocabularies, they can even after the exercises, then accidentally you find another good collocation as personal, so they just go back to this page and edit. So my ideas, thank you for your ideas, by the way. You will find them among my examples as well. So personal details, personal use, personal belongings, and personal best. Yeah, I've chosen these 5 collocations. So you see, just from one exercise, from one gap filling, not even activity, but from one gap, you can expand your students' vocabulary with more collocations. What you can do, how you can do this? Invite your students to become active learners and to use these activities. For online activity, you ask your students to choose a phrase. For example, personal details. Make a sentence with this phrase. Like, you need to leave your personal details to get the credit card, for example. Personal information. Then you replace it with the gap and post this gapped sentence in our chat. After that, you will get 15 or 20, it depends on how many students you have, gap filling activities for your students to practice the same collocations. You can use some of them now, some of them on the next lesson. And they will remember them much better. Here we have the example. You can download the video for only. Yeah, what is instead of the gap here. Now, I invite you to be active and to prepare your examples. Thank you for answers. Yes. Good. Can you, for free only? Yes, but for free it can be as the answer, but here we practice one of the collocations that are on the board or on your screens. So what is here? I would ask you to write in our chat gapped sentence. So don't write the answers. Yeah, use just a dash or just leave the space. Oh, thank you very much. Or 3. So we have some. I'm going to show them to you so you can practice. I will. Oh, great! Thank you. That's wonderful that you can that you interact with me today. So I just create the new slide, and here we have some interesting ideas from you, actually. That's interesting because your students do something and they understand the logic of these exercises much better. I'm very sorry. Now I have so many examples from you that I don't even have time. So I need to be very quick. Sorry, these are 2 together. So now you have, here we have, I can't, let's wait. I hope now, so what happens right now? We put students in the center. We give them some new language and we give them the practice. Now, and as teachers, we did not so much, right? I'm very sorry. I would love to put all your ideas, but unfortunately we have some time limits, and so these are the exercises that are created by students. Again, as a teacher, you can use it right now. You can send different sentences to different students. You can keep some, save them, and then revise the language after on the next lesson or in several lessons. Okay. Well, thank you very much for participation. And from what is required from you is just to copy and paste their exercises. So finally, we find the solution how stop spending evening creating your interesting activities for the students. They do them by themselves. And by the way, you will notice that some of your students are great teachers. They can prepare really interesting and great examples. You can find something new about them, so just give them some time and some space for creativity. So that was one of the ideas. Let's move on. Again, I'm very sorry, just yeah, I've read all your ideas, but for now I can't put them, but anyway I can maybe copy all your ideas, and then we will share them with you. So for now, let's look at gap filling activity number 2. What type of word is missing? Here we have found out it's the noun, and now we need to decide which noun is missing. Great. I guess this one is easier. Yeah, this expression is famous collocation. Yeah, this collocation is more known for us. Yeah, yes, that's right. Thank you very much. So the answer is population density, number of people living in each unit of area. For example, a square mile. And over here we can see an example, the picture example. Again, we can ask our students to prepare their own ideas, to find some pictures, to give explanations and many other things. Also, what is good is we always need to practice and to train our students to be active and to come back to what they've studied, because they have so much information and they need to revise this information all the time. Again, very simple activities that can be done even on your Zoom board. You can do it with a pen, or you use the same slide like I've done here. I just substitute some words to the gaps, and now all we need to do is to remember what words were in the circles 1, 2, and 3. Let's check your memory. Do you remember? So we have the answers: personal details, personal best. Do you remember what was in numbers 1, 2, and 3? Actually, the first one was from the text, right? Oh, great. I have the answers. Thank you. And here it's important to ask students, do you remember? You can use it, you can erase something if you use the board. Yeah, you can prepare it for the next lesson. You can do it as a sum up activity. Again, not so much time, but anyway, it's useful, and it doesn't require a lot from us as teachers, but from students. we work with them to be active, to remember more, not to be just like robots during the lessons, but to use their brains. Good, thank you very much. I've seen lots of correct answers. So the missing words were space, use, and belongings. Great job. Thank you very much. Now, more about collocations, some other ideas. Again, it's great when we have one word and we try and we add some interesting expressions. Here we have another exercise, totally different. It's not the exam task, but exam preparation task. We have only one word that fits in each gap on the left in exercise C. And if it's difficult for you to understand what this word is, you can use examples from 1 to 6 on your right, and the context can help you. So I'm waiting for you to give me the correct answer. So only one word fits all the words. Fits all the expressions. Any idea what it is? Oh, great. Thank you. I've got the first answer. Super. Well done. Yes, the answer is town. Hometown, ghost town, talk of the town, night on the town, paint the town red, and town hall. Some of the these expressions are idioms, some are collocations. Anyway, they are all useful and something that our students will benefit if they know. Again, how we can practice it. Here is a great activity when first we think, we try to understand what word is missing, then we put these expressions in the correct sentence. So we work with the context, we try to understand what it means. The context can help us. We can ask our students to prepare their own examples, or again, for online learning, we can give our students a set of expressions, maybe not all 6, just 4, and ask them to find and post a photo in your chat. You can have Viber chat, you can have chat in your classroom management system, anywhere. But again, while they will do that, they will remember these phrases, they will understand it better. And here we combine not only auditory memory, but also visual memory. So here we match 2 parts of the brain, the one that that is responsible for our language learning, the left one, and the right one, which is responsible for our creativity. So here, students, again, they are more involved. They can share these photos. You can use these photos, again, for revision. You can assign each student a partner whom he will send these photos, and the partner needs to understand what it means. Again, not very difficult. You can set a time. If it's not a homework, you can set a time limit. Like, okay, now you have 5 minutes to, or even not 5, 2 minutes to find 4 pictures. Times go, start. They can do it very quickly. They will be more engaging. And again, start the next lesson by showing one of the pictures and asking, okay, who remembers this collocation? Good. Paint the town red. Super. What other collocations do you remember with town? Good. Well done. And so on and so forth. So again, you collect the material from the students. They remember and they chosen by themselves. And then you use it during the next webinars, in next lessons. Okay. Phrasal verbs. again, very important part, and the sooner you start to teach them, the better it is. So here we have a very typical activity with good phrasal verbs. Good, I mean to remember. And you need to match the phrasal verb with its meaning. So I guess that for you, all these phrasal verbs are familiar, right? Like C, D, E, B, A. Wonderful. So get away and go on a holiday or for a short break, hang out, spend time socially. Very great explanation, by the way. Move into, start living in a place, move out. Leave a place you live in, yeah, and settle down, start living in a fixed and routine life. Well done. And now be ready to find out a game. This game is a bit confusing to the first time, but when you practice it, and if you practice it with your students and help them with the examples, then you can use it and they will get lots of fun, by the way. So what you need to do, you need to explain, this is an activity that you work in pairs or small groups. The task is to explain the sentence without using this phrasal verb. So what your partner should answer is the full sentence with the word. So not you don't just explain the phrasal verb, but you explain the whole sentence. Great, by the way, for developing speaking skills. You can use it for writing skills as well. And it helps, what is very important, to recall and use synonyms, which is also we need when we practice and prepare for use of language part of the exam. So you should describe the sentence to elicit the phrasal verb without using the key words. It's up to you what keywords, but usually they are like here, blow, blew, out. So the words that are written, and some very obvious like birthday and cake. Here we have an explanation. There were some candles on the top of a sweet baked treat. Yeah, very interesting. The girl was celebrating the year of her birth. What can it be? What holiday it is? Yeah, she had been born 10 years ago, and there were 10 candles on the top of the delicious snack. Again, you see, sweet baked treat, delicious snack. Synonyms, we help our students develop their speech and become more confident users of language. Was about to eat, she breathed in and then exhaled in the direction of the candles. Not an easy explanation, but again, once you practice it, you will see how much benefit your students will get. So for now, I would ask you to spend a minute and to write down your explanation to this sentence. I'm waiting for him to call me back. You should describe the sentence to elicit the phrasal verb without using the keywords. Call, called, calling, and back. Very easy. No other restrictions. So the phrasal verb is call me back. Again, your partner won't see the whole sentence. So the idea is to describe all the sentence. So one evening, for example, I am in the room. I contacted my dad, but he was busy and he promised to talk to me a bit later. Yeah, and now I'm sitting and waiting to hear from him. What phrasal verb is hidden? Some ideas from you. Phoning. I'm waiting for him to get in touch with me by a phone, another phrasal verb. Then you can even elicit your students' ideas and put down all interesting words, phrases, synonyms for them again to write down to prepare new stories. I wanted to talk to my friend on the phone, but he was out, she mother said. I asked his mom to get in touch with me later. Perfect. Drop me a line. Wonderful. I suggest you to practice if you're not sure that your students are strong enough for this activity, you can practice it all together. Yeah, like let's do this rephrasing together. Then, like after several times, they will come back. They will understand it, and it would be great. You can use, for example, you have a list of the phrasal verbs, and each lesson you prepare this. Now I have lots of ideas from you. I would like to share some of them with you. Thank you very much for participation. I gave him my personal details, and now I want him to reach me out. Perfect. Here a word from him. I'm waiting for him to decide to take his phone, and phone me. I'm sitting in the living room waiting for a phone call from my friend. I've contacted him by phone, but he didn't manage to answer, so I'm waiting for him to use my phone number and get in touch with me. Perfect. It's interesting but difficult task for some of my pupils. Yes, it is, but it really helps and it really develops. If they know this, they will. If they can do this, they will be able to do much more, and you can help them, you can guide them, you can do it all together. So I'm going to finish because our time is out. So for online exercises, you can send before the beginning of the class, you can send one phrasal verb to each of your students, or maybe to some of your students, and they will come to your lessons with their stories for others to guess. You can use it, they can write stories to you. It could be their homework to write the stories, and all others should read these explanations and send you the list of phrasal verbs in the same order as it is in the chat. I believe that you have even more creative ideas because I really know that teachers are really creative and interesting, and they really help their students to participate, to be great, to be successful during the exam. Okay, Again, if we are talking about online preparation, about online education, I've told you in the beginning, and now I would like to give you some more details about my ELT. This is the platform where National Geographic Learning has its online workbooks. You can see there very interesting, easy, but useful activities that supplement the student book. It can be used with workbook or instead of workbook if you would like to have it online. As you can see, all the activities, there are different activities. You can practice lots of things like vocabulary and grammar mostly, and the exercises are given in such a way so they first revise the language, and also they use the language, like to fill in the gap, to drop the sentence, to do multiple choice, to think about the activities like correct, is it correct, incorrect. Then during the lesson you can discuss the mistakes and so on and so forth. As a classroom management tool, you can, as the teacher, you create the class, you invite your students, and you follow their progress. You will see how many attempts were there, how much time then they spent, what percent is it, lots of details, so you can control and manage your students. And usually they respond to online activities very well. You see here is a screenshot from the teacher's cabinet where you can set how many times he can try to do the exercise. For example, 1 or 10 or 3, anything. Then you decide if you save, what you need to see, the best result or the latest result, for example. You can set the time, you can open and close. It works very well when students have very strict limits. Then you can write some messages. You can download the reports to show to the parents, lots of things actually. I'm very sorry. Yeah, for taking your time a bit longer. And so to register to this platform, this, of course, unfortunately, it's not free for students. So they need to buy this code, and but the teacher then organizes the classroom. So for teachers, it's for free. And so if you are interested in this platform, please contact me or a sales representative from Linguist company. They will give you the information and you can use it. Also, what another thing, if you teach teenagers, they may be interested in developing their skills, not just exam preparation. Here we have a wonderful application for your smartphones, which is called Learn English with TED Talks. You can try a demo version. You just need to write down it in the search engine and you will get to the site. So you can have a demo version with one TED Talk for each level. If you have the full version, which costs about 100 hryvnias, you can have all 40 TED Talks, 10 for each level, from pre-intermediate up to upper intermediate, with lots of exercises. And your students can do it, and then you can discuss all these TED Talks. The vocabulary will be presented there. They will practice grammar, useful speaking strategies, and discuss very interesting questions. Today's examples were taken from our book, Close Up, second edition, which is great for exam preparation. As you can see, there are lots of levels starting from A1 plus to C2. We have Ministry of Education permission for this book to be used, and actually lots of teachers have already chosen this book and use it for exam preparation starting from the 7th grade. There are lots of activities. They are all in the exam-like version, and they but together with it, they have National Geographic learning content, great videos for each unit, interesting questions to discuss, very useful tips, and not only tips, but also exercises to practice these tips. So your students won't just read how to do something, but they will get step-by-step exercises that will guide them through all the tips. You can even don't show them the tips, but do the exercises and then elicit the tips from them. Lots of useful expression, vocabulary bank, writing bank, grammar bank, speaking activities, listening activities. I guess that this book is one of the most interesting books I've seen, actually. And for teachers from Ukraine, we have special gift, a Close Up for Ukraine booklet that supplements and covers all topics from your school program. Also, I invite you to think more about teenagers, teaching teens, and this Friday there is a block number 5 for our teaching teens course from Linguist Training Center. You will find out more about how to teach speaking and classroom assessment. The end of the term is soon, and we need to finally understand how to make it, especially as we move into the new era of school programs of education. If you took part in our Want to Learn learned chart, think about 3 collocations, 2 games, and 1 insight you've had. Write it down. I think that I will finish the webinar, so I won't take your time. And also you will get the feedback form, so I would be happy to write the answers in the feedback form as well. If you are interested in anything from National Geographic Learning in professional development, please do not hesitate. Contact me, visit our site, subscribe to our Facebook page. Today, by the way, we have shared a new board game for students of level A2 to practice past continuous tense in an interesting form. And you can download it for free and use it for online or offline classrooms. Thank you very much for being wonderful listeners today, for being active, for taking part. I'm very sorry for taking you a bit longer, but I hope that you find something useful and you have found the answers to the questions that you've had. So have a very great evening, and hope to see you soon during our next webinars. Thank you very much and goodbye.